liner. Matt, how you doing?
Hey, EJ, doing well. Big stakes, small ball. That is what everyone is expecting here tonight in this wild card game. Not only are the two aces on the mound, but both of these pitchers have done an extraordinary job of keeping the ball in the ballpark this season. Gerrit Cole is fourth in the major leagues in home runs allowed per 9 innings, a category led by Jake Arrieta. Accordingly, both teams have their lineups set up for a tight game. Speed on both benches. Keon Broxton for the Pirates stole 39 bases in the minors this season, while the Cubs have Quentin Berry, who is 27 for 28 all-time in steal attempts as a major leaguer. And guys, Cal addressed the Pirate defense this season. Yesterday, Clint Hurdle spent a good part of the workout drilling his team on defense. Cutoff throws, bunt plays, rundowns, you name it. It's the kind of stuff we're more accustomed to seeing in February than October.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. Tonight's batting order is presented by Hankook Tire. The Chicago Cubs making their first playoff appearance since 2008. Dexter Fowler leads it off. The rookie Kyle Schwarber hits second. The likely rookie of the year in the National League, Chris Bryant, hitting third, then Anthony Rizzo in the cleanup spot. Tommy La Stella gets the start at third base. Then it's Starlin Castro, Miguel Montero behind the plate, another rookie, Addison Russell at short, and Jake Arrieta on the mound.
Well, you got to stay alive when you're facing Gerrit Cole. 10 hit batters this season, but just remember, this Pittsburgh team that started off the year 18-22, then responded with great baseball. While they were struggling, Gerrit Cole went 14-4 to keep their head above water.
Gerrit Cole ready to go. Dexter Fowler stepping in. You see the 32 starts for Cole, a record of 19-8. And he was hot in September. In his last 5 starts, he went 4-0. All 4 of those wins were against playoff teams. He beat the Cardinals twice. He beat the Dodgers. And he beat the Chicago Cubs. Dexter Fowler steps in, and the first pitch misses. 1-0, and we are underway here at PNC Park. Jeff Nelson calling the balls and strikes tonight. Here's the 1-0, and that's upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes.
Jeff Nelson, one of the best umpires in all of baseball, but he is not going to go off the corners to give you strikes. You are going to have to be in that rectangle that we'll be showing you all evening.
Big swing by Fowler, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Fowler 4th in the league in runs scored with 102. He's got speed. He'll walk a lot. He'll strike out a lot. And he's ahead in the count, 3-1.
And he'll hit his share of home runs, too. He's not your prototypical leadoff hitter. 3-1-2-0. That's a power pitch for him.
The 3-1. Line to center field, and that is going to fall in front of McCutchen for a base hit.
The one difference you sometimes get with young pitchers in big games is that Gerrit Cole can throw the ball over 95, up to 100 miles an hour. Early in the game, he's throwing it as hard as he ever will. Sometimes you throw too many fastballs, and they're on the 5th one, a base hit.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, when they're up in the zone, is that just adrenaline and maybe trying too hard?
Just have your arm just feels so alive.
Fowler back on his belly. He stole 20 out of 27 this year. Kyle Schwarber waiting at the plate. Chicago rookie playing right field tonight. There goes Fowler. Pitch inside. Here's the throw. And he is safe.
He hits a pretty good jump right here. And Cervelli makes a nice throw right on the bag, but just gets in there.
Well, the ball will come out of his glove. What I find interesting is that Harrison was playing third base, and because of the shift, has to play on that side of second base. He's the one taking the throw, the unusual throw.
That pitch to Schwarber upstairs. 2 balls and no strikes. Schwarber played in 69 games. He homered it 16 times in his first 52 big league games. First player in Cubs history to do that, but didn't homer in his last 17 games. Came up empty there. 2 balls and a strike.
Garrett Cole talked about plan B. He and Cervelli, sometimes you have to go to plan B right away. 2-0 breaking ball from Cole right there.
No matter how good a fastball you have, you can't pitch in 2-0 and 3-1 counts consistently in the game. He's got to get ahead.
Two and two. Schwarber's a big kid. 235 pounds. Calling the Hulk. He was a linebacker in high school and played baseball at Indiana for 3 seasons. He can hit the ball at country mile. Fowler with a lead at second. Here comes the 2-2. Slapped into left. Near the line. That's going to fall for a hit. Fowler's going to score easily. Schwarber a wide turn. Returns to first. Ball got away, but Schwarber will stay at first with an RBI single here in the first off of Garrett Cole. And they are watching in Chicago. Got cameras at a couple of locations, and the Cubs on the board first.
Now, many teams would ask the second hitter to pull this ball and try to get the guy over with a productive out, but not the Chicago Cubs. He's got power to all fields, and they let him swing away and drive the run in down the left field line.
Here's Chris Bryant. He takes inside 1-0. Bryant with eye-popping numbers among rookies in the National League this year. That's over, a ball and a strike. Tied for first in home runs with Jock Peterson among rooks. Second in hits behind Matt Duffy. First in runs batted in. First in runs scored. First in doubles, and the list goes on. And he bats here in the first with nobody out and a man on.
And there's that pitch just a little off the outside corner.
And you continue to see Cole not able to command his fastball as of yet.
The 2-1. On the ground to third. Harrison to second for one. The first double play. They go around the horn, 5-4-3. 2 down here in the first.
You know, there's many ways to measure a defense, not just by errors. And the Pirates are really good at turning double plays. And this is a big one for them.
Got to watch out. First pitch to Anthony Rizzo. Always ready for that fastball.
And he fouls that first pitch away, 0-1. Rizzo played in more games than anybody else in the National League, 160. And he's behind in the count, 0-2. It was another 30-plus home run season for the cleanup hitter. And get a look at the Pirates with their defensive shift. Clint Hurl does that a lot. Rizzo just got a piece.
The best pitches that Cole's thrown here in this inning is this breaking ball, and he just threw a really nice changeup. Fastball's been a little up in the strike zone. And this one's intentionally up in the strike zone.
The 0-2 is blooped near the line, and it's going to be fouled.
Guys, we were talking about the shifts before. Only Colorado has shifted more than the Pittsburgh Pirates in the National League. The Cubs, 1/3 of what the Pirates shift. Joe Maddon, who used to be known as the guy who shifted the most when he was the manager in the American League.
On the ground, into the shift. Walker, a low throw, and it's juggled by Rodriguez at first, and Rizzo is safe.
And this is one of the dangers of playing really deep in the shift. That makes that throw a long throw. Short hopped him, just couldn't handle it.
And you know what's interesting, because Sean Rodriguez is a middle infielder by trade, when he went to get that throw and scoop it, most first basemen who play out there all the time scoop it with one hand with the big glove. He tried to two-hand it almost into his cradle.
That's a really good point. Sometimes it's on the read of the ball where it's going to bounce, but you can reach out a little bit further with one hand.
Here's Tommy LaStella getting the start at third base tonight for Chicago, and he takes a strike. Rodriguez, by the way, at first base. Pedro Alvarez, who plays there a lot, not in the starting lineup tonight, despite the fact that he can hit the long ball, but struggles with the glove. On 2.
In a close game, with two, in a supposedly close game here with two of the best pitchers on the mound, you want to put your best defense forward, and that's what Trent Hurdle was doing.
Strike 3 called. LaStella caught looking, but the Cubs get on the board. Jake Arrieta takes the stage in Pittsburgh. Tonight's batting order presented by Hankook Tire for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Gregory Polanco leads it off, and it's Josh Harrison, Andrew McCutchen in the 3-hole, followed by Starling Marte. Francisco Cervelli does the catching and hits 5th, and it's Neil Walker, Jordy Mercer, Sean Rodriguez, and Garrett Cole on the mound against Jake Arrieta.
Garrett Cole had given up 18 first-inning runs in the regular season, one tonight. Jake Arrieta has not given up a first-inning run in his last 23 starts. If you look at pitchers in the history of the game with 22 wins and an ERA of less than 2, you bring into place Doc Gooden, Ron Guidry, Sandy Koufax, Denny McClain. That's the kind of year that he's had.
Since the All-Star break, 12-1 with an ERA of 0.75. You heard me right. Here's Polanco, who takes a strike 0-1. Arrieta's won 11 straight decisions. His last loss came on July 25th against the Phillies when Cole Hamels threw a no-hitter. One to the inside, count even, a ball and a strike.
Well, pitchers will be accused occasionally of being the non-athlete that's on the field. Both Arrieta and Cole are outstanding athletes. Boy, the difference right away with Arrieta. We saw Cole come out and just try to blow people away. Arrieta already going right to the breaking ball.
Listen to that crowd. This worked against Johnny Cueto 2 years ago. Remember that night against Cincinnati, and the Cueto chant started here in this ballpark. Johnny dropped the ball as he stood on the mound at one point. They're trying the Arrieta here tonight.
He dropped the ball. The next pitch, he gave up the home run to Russell Martin.
The 1-2. Strike 3 call.
When I talked to Joe Maddon and I had him try to explain why is Jake Arrieta the pitcher he is today, that he wasn't with the Baltimore Orioles, and he said it is fast ball command. He's always had the ancillary pitchers to get people out, but he could never get to them because he was 2-1, 3-1 count. Now he always pitches ahead, and he has the wipeout pitches to strike you out.
And you see the Chevrolet pitch tracks. as he faces Josh Harrison.
Yeah, when you face a guy like Jake, you know he's going to throw the ball really hard. Early in the count might be your best chance to put the bat on the ball, but you can't be jumpy. You can't get out there too soon. Short swing, let the power of his arm provide the power.
Grounder to second that Castro handles. 2 up and 2 down here in the bottom half of the first. And now here's Andrew McCutchen, whose mom Katrina sang the national anthem here tonight. And she can belt it out too.
What a version that was.
Arrieta into the line, and there's a strike 0-1.
One of the few guys in the lineup that actually has some decent numbers against Jake. 348 average, 8 for 23. No homers, though.
You know, we saw it a little bit last night in the great effort by Dallas Keuchel. But Jake Arrieta the same. When you watch his windup, concentrate on his glove and his hand. His hand will come out of his glove for a second and almost pat his glove before he proceeds to throw the ball to the plate. Almost like it generates a little movement before he lets that ball go.
You bring up that game last night too, Ron, and we should point out in the history of the wild card, now the road teams are 5-2.
I'm still amazed at the stuff that Jake Arrieta has. We just saw a 91-mile-an-hour cutter slider that just missed off the inside part. He has a ball that goes into lefties. He has a ball that comes back on the fastball. You just have to make up your mind, guess right on which one.
This is a guy who was a sub-500 pitcher with the Baltimore Orioles, and has completely turned that around. And McCutchen turns that around. A single up the middle with 2 down here in the first.
Just a nice breaking ball. Came after a slider, so you think he'd get fooled on the speed of the pitch. But McCutchen has a nice approach, very quiet. Takes this breaking ball, this big hook, right back up the middle.
That was for Katrina there.
So with 2 down, McCutchen at first. Here's the cleanup hitter, Starling Marte.
You get the feeling that Pittsburgh's going to push the envelope a little bit on trying to make things happen. They couldn't do it before against them. They're going to try something new. So a stolen base is definitely a possibility right here.
Huge cut by Marte. It's 0-1.
33 attempted steals versus Jake Arrieta this year. 27 of them successful. His only Achilles heel this year.
McCutchen, the base runner here in the first. The 0-1 to Marte. Fouled straight back. No balls and 2 strikes. Ronnie?
The one thing we learn sometimes when we watch these games and these great pitchers is that we tend to think they're perfect for 9 innings. That's not always the case. They're going to make a mistake. They're going to make a mistake in the strike zone. That was 1 to Marte there. The better the pitcher, less chance you have to miss that 1 or 2 mistakes.
Arrieta to the plate, and Marte swings right through it. Second strikeout of the inning, and we have played 1 in the wild card game. Cubs lead it 1-0.
He'd have a good game tonight.
He leads it off here in the second with the Cubs on top, 1-0.
You know, Joe's a stat guy, so he knows that Castro has got 6 for 17 off of him. And he had to get him in the lineup. And that's his pick to click.
In the air and out of play. No balls and 2 strikes. Been an interesting year for Castro, because remember a couple years ago he was the future. He was the guy who was playing shortstop, the kid. And then you picked up Addison Russell, moved him to second base for a while. He was out of the lineup. And there was even talk in the Chicago area about, boy, if he could move him, maybe they would move him. But here he is starting at second base. Really picked it up August and September with the bat.
You know, a lot of times when you take a young player out of his original position, you move him to another position, you see him mope the rest of the year. And that never happened to Castro. In fact, he picked it up a clip.
The 1-2 is tapped toward third. Cole makes the play and gets him by a step. Cole had to wait for that ball to come down and then gun it to first. And he got him.
That's just a high chopper. Castro didn't get out of the box really well, but still makes it up down there and just gets nipped at first base.
I talked before, both of these pitchers are outstanding at fielding their position, and it helps when you can throw 100 over there too.
Here's Miguel Montero. Once again, 3 infielders on the right side. The defense employed by Clint Hurdle. Josh Harrison, the third baseman, is over there on the right side, along with Walker, the second baseman, who's in shallow right.
And more, the third baseman is not playing as deep early in the count, because playoff baseball, it's very difficult to get hits. And many times people that don't ordinarily do it during the regular season will try to push a bunt down there. But with 2 strikes, they'll go back to the shift and head deep.
Remember what I told you before about Harrison when he had to come in to get that throw on the steal by Fowler. Harrison has played a lot of second base. He has Mr. Versatility for this ball club, especially last year, his all-star year.
Montero's been an all-star a couple of times with Arizona. Hit .248 this year, 15 long balls and 53 runs batted in 113 games. That's foul. Past first. They've got Montero as a catcher. David Ross is on this roster, and David Ross, the veteran presence, has really helped with this young team. When you got a team that's starting 3 rookies in this game. The ground out to short for the second out, but he kind of makes it his business to make sure that nobody's taking themselves too seriously or the situation too seriously as they make their first playoff appearance since 2008.
Well, there's a reason that every team that David Ross seems to be on is a winning ball club.
Two down now for Addison Russell. 21 years old with a load of talent. Fouls it back 0-1.
So young, so athletic, almost balletic, and just learning how to hit.
That's in the air to left center field. McCutcheon says, I got this, and he does. And that is a 1-2-3 inning for Garrett Cole. Middle of the second at PNC. We'll be back. 1-1. Having beaten the Reds 2 years ago and then felt the business end of Madison Bumgarner last year in an 8-0 loss. Just a sign of what was to come in the postseason for Mad Bum. Francisco Cervelli leading it off here in the bottom half of the second against Jake Arrieta. And quickly ahead. No balls and 2 strikes.
Clint Hurdle was asked about Madison Bumgarner's postseason. He said, I am so happy that all those other teams got to experience what we did.
Arrieta deals the 0-2, breaking pitch inside, a ball and 2 strikes. Clint Hurdle, when he took over here in November of 2010, it was really the eternal optimist in a pessimistic setting. Pirates were in a serious funk and had been for years. The team had won 57 games. Under Hurdle, the wins have gone 72, 79, 94, 88, and this year 98. Second most wins in baseball. Time is called as Arrieta was into his line. They're trying to get under Jake's skin. They were trying to get under it on Twitter as well. He had a little give and take with the Pirates fans. Said it was all in good fun. On the ground to first. Rizzo will win the race for the first out. So be ready for the sea of black, and Jake Arrieta responding, whatever helps keep your hope alive, just know it doesn't matter.
Now that's some confidence.
Had a chance to talk to Chris Bosio, the Cubs pitching coach, yesterday, just about what he sees with Jake Arrieta. He just described him as just this. His confidence is through the roof. You don't see Jake a lot like yelling into his glove or anything, or see any emotions, but he said he has an inner fire that very few pitchers have.
It's interesting, his mechanics. He almost starts out like he's from the stretch and just adds that into his motion. But we could give you stats all night about this guy's year. 87 innings pitched against the rest of the teams that are in the postseason. He has not given up one home run to those teams.
He fooled Neil Walker with that, and it's 0-2.
Folks at home, that just does not happen.
He's got a lot of those numbers this year that you just shake your head and wonder if they can be true. Again, time call.
You know, Ernie, you talked about before what Clint has done with Pittsburgh. Think about the Cubbies. Last year, 73 wins. This year, 97 in the first year under Joe Madden.
A ball and 2 strikes. Two of the good motivators in this game in Joe Madden and Clint Hurdle.
And they both do it a different way.
Do they ever? I haven't seen any Penguins or anything in the Pittsburgh clubhouse, but Joe has done a lot of out-of-the-box things. As Walker strikes out, and that's the 3rd K for Jake Arrieta.
All 3 of those ball clubs have reached the postseason. It's nice to see some new teams in the post.
I'm starting to pay attention to the timeouts called, whether that's a team strategy just to kind of throw off the rhythm of Jake Arrieta. They haven't had much success against him, period. Hitting off of him.
They're taking a long time to get in the box.
It seems like that's a consistent strategy.
It might just delay the inevitable.
Jordy Mercer, the shortstop, takes a strike, 0-1. That's in the air to center. Dexter Fowler. And that is a 1-2-3 inning for Jake Arrieta. 2 innings in the books in the NL Wild Card on TBS. Got the Astros and Royals, and on TBS Friday, game 1 of the NLDS. The winner of this game taking on the Cardinals in St. Louis, and then we'll be in Los Angeles for the Mets and the Dodgers. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock Eastern with MLB postseason pregame on TBS, presented by Chrysler. Jake Arrieta leading it off here in the 3rd, and quickly falls behind 0-2. Jake's a pretty good hitter. Gone deep a couple of times this year. But he goes down swinging on 3 pitches to lead off the 3rd.
good hitting pitcher kind of goes out the window against two guys like this. It really does.
What was the ultimate sign of respect for you when you were at the plate as a pitcher?
Well, you knew that if you got a breaking pitch early in the count, that was the term respect. Guys like Garrett Cole, just throw the ball right by him.
Back to the top of the order now in Dexter Fowler.
So what if you'd have got a 2-0 changeup? What would that have said to you?
That I would have said that this guy doesn't really belong in the major leagues.
And Fowler had to spin out of the way of that. He led off the game with a single. Stole second and scored on Schwarber's RBI single the other way. So you've heard so much talk in the days leading up to this game about the need to get on the board first. And that's exactly what the Cubs did in their first crack at it. Tonight Chevrolet pitch tracks. You see the Arsenal. And you see this ball hit to right, and it's going to fall for a hit. Dexter Fowler is 2 for 2. Fowler, who came up with the Rockies, played with the Houston Astros, and has really flourished as Joe Maddon's leadoff hitter here in Chicago. Cole looking in at Schwarber, who knocked in the game's only run. Dexter Fowler at first. That first base coach Brandon Hyde in his ear momentarily. And he takes his lead at first. That's inside again. 2 balls and no strikes. Both of these starters have seen the other team several times. 4 starts for Cole. He's 2-1. With a fine ERA of 2.13, but then you consider what Arrieta's done against the Pirates with an 0.75 ERA in 5 starts.
Well, we've given so many great numbers about Arrieta. What we can't forget about is when he was the same age as Cole, 25. That's when his struggles were. Garrett Cole has had no struggles since he's come to the major leagues, other than a few injuries last year that made him miss a few starts.
2-1. There's a drive to deep right. That ball is crushed. Look out in the Allegheny. Well, they're loving it in Chicago outside Wrigley. And Kyle Schwarber, the rookie, with a 2-run jack here in the 3rd.
And here comes the pitch here. 2-1 slider. Is that what you had?
Little breaking ball right in the middle of the plate.
I was really questioning. He went up there almost looking for a breaking ball. He took a 2-0 fastball for a strike like he was sitting on it. So the first time up, he gets a fastball, hits down the left field line. And it looked like he went up sitting on a breaking ball just to do that with it.
So it's a 3-0 game on the strength of Schwarber's RBI single in the first and a 2-run bomb here in the 3rd.
You sure Schwarber's not a Penn State linebacker on the weekends? I mean, what a body and what's the power. Fowler knew right away.
Here's Chris Bryant. No balls and 2 strikes. Here again. They watch it in Chicago, and even from long distance. It's like you were there. Nibbled at the corner and missed. A ball and 2 strikes. Talked about Schwarber having hit those 16 home runs in about 52 games, and then no homers in his next 17. But here in his first postseason taste, he goes deep. That was up and in on Chris Bryant.
I was trying to read Kyle's lips over there because the hitter likes to talk about it. He said, yeah, it was a breaking ball. And it looked like he said I was sitting on it.
Because a hitter likes to talk about it. Full count, 3-2. What impresses you most about the guy at the plate right now, Cal? Likely rookie of the year in the NL.
I mean, just how composed he is when he gets up here. It seemed like nothing seems to affect him. Just right there, how calm he was in a situation where he might be a little antsy. He'll take the walk. He'll also strike out a ton, too. But don't make a mistake.
Yeah, he struck out 199 times, the most in the National League this year. But after falling behind 0-2, he works a walk with one down and 2 runs in.
You know, Joe Madden, we were talking about him today. He said, what do you do in the postseason? You're less tolerant of your starting pitching. Well, Clint Hurdle is getting less tolerant of Garrett Cole right now with the phone to the bullpen. There's a pitching coach, Ray Serge.
You saw Jared Hughes getting ready pronto, sprinting to the mound in the bullpen. And this is certainly not what Pirate fans had envisioned in the 3rd inning. Is anybody up in that pen? And Garrett Cole having given up 3 runs.
You know, go back to Bryant striking out 199 times. I can't help but think that's the new school. It looks like it's an out. They're willing to take a close pitch because it's hard to hit anyway. And they walk a lot, and they're willing to take the walk or the called 3rd strike.
Here's Anthony Rizzo, the cleanup hitter. Down low, 1-0.
Well, we're talking about a Cubs team that came into this wild card game as hot as any team in the history of their game. They won their last 8 games in a row. That's the first time they've done that since 1884.
Shallow left. Who wants it? Mercer makes the catch over the shoulder, and then the throw back to first for the double play. Tough play for Mercer. And then Bryant caught off the bag at first. But the Cubbies do some damage. 2 by Clint Hurdle that had Sean Rodriguez in the starting lineup at first base because Pedro Alvarez has made 23 errors over there. But now you're down 3-0. Clint Hurdle saying, heck with defense, we need some offense. And so Alvarez pinch hits for Rodriguez here in the 3rd in a 3-0 game. And he swings at the first pitch and fouls it back.
This is the football town. Forget about the running game. We're going to throw it.
Alvarez with 27 home runs, 77 runs batted in. Most of those home runs have been solos. A couple of years ago, he hit 36 home runs to tie for the league lead with Paul Goldschmidt.
It doesn't matter how hard you throw. This young man can catch up to anyone's fastball. It's the breaking ball that gives him the problems.
Clint Hurdle has said in the past this guy has the ability to shrink every ballpark. Just missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
The breaking ball didn't quite get back to the outside corner. Big break. Good call.
And Alvarez goes down swinging for out number 1. As Montero throws the ball into left field as they go around the horn.
Well, he's got 4 strikeouts. This is the first one with the breaking ball from Arrieta.
And that's the hard breaking ball. That's that hard slider that's 90-91.
Now he faces Garrett Cole. Garrett's one of those guys who has said he does not want the designated hitter to ever come to the National League. He loves to hit. He's got 9 hits this year, 150 with a couple of runs batted in.
Eight and 9 first pitch strikes. Arrieta has just been going. He's doing what he's been doing for 2.5 months.
So that's all the more reason to be aggressive early in the count. You don't want to fall behind when somebody can finish you off with all those pitches. Try to get him before he gets you.
It's like the old Ray Miller formula. Former pitching coach for the Orioles and the Pittsburgh Pirates talked about strike one and change speeds, work quickly.
Yeah, Ray Miller believed in pitching ahead and working quickly because the defense is behind. He wanted everyone on alert on defense behind. There's nothing worse to have a pitcher walk around the mound and have the defense fall asleep. You might fall asleep with Jake out there because he strikes everybody out. You get no action.
He's got 5 so far. And here's Gregory Polanco, who looks at a strike. Boy, he's just pounding the zone, isn't he?
Well, our job in the booth here is to keep you around when the other team has gotten off to a big start. I'm going to go against that adage right now and give you this stat. Arrieta, 3 or more run lead, 16-0 this year.
Well, if you were to picture, or if you were going to ask a Cub fan or ask a Cub player, okay, what do you really want to see tonight? It would be, let's get to Cole early. Let's get a lead for Jake Arrieta, knowing full well that when the lead is 3 like it is right now, he's been virtually untouchable. And there is strikeout number 6 through 3 innings. Download Team Stream on the App Store or Google Play today. Top half of the 4th inning. Tommy LaStella looked like he got low bridged on that. It's a strike called.
It's right at the top of the strike zone, so the high strike has been called tonight, not the in or the away.
Tapped foul wide of first. And Garrett Cole ahead, no balls and 2 strikes.
When you're trying to hit someone with a good fastball, you want to make them get it down in the strike zone. It's hard to hit that high fastball. When the umpires are calling it right there, it makes you want to expand the strike zone.
LaStella getting the start at third base tonight here in the wild card game. And he taps that one to first. Alvarez in the game now makes the play unassisted for the first out. Moments ago, we spoke with Pirates manager Clint Hurdle. Clint, what can you tell me about Garrett Cole through 3 innings?
Well, he just got a couple balls in some bad spots. You know, down early. No sense about the defense at first base now. Run Alvarez in there. He's going to get a few more at bats, trying to claw, scratch our way back in.
Well, you guys have done that all season long, Clint. You got to be hopeful that you guys can do what you've been doing all year.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, you just got to keep battling. You got to keep competing in the box. We're facing a tough pitcher, but we got to go up there with a mindset that we're going to claw, scratch, and out compete him in the batter's box.
Thank you, Clint.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Clint.
A ball and no strikes to Starlin Castro. Our thanks to Clint Hurdle for taking a couple of moments in between innings. Rough start for the Pirates. Rounded to third. Harrison had to back up and then made the long throw for the second out.
It's a nice play by Harrison at third. He's got a top spin. He has to back up to get the big hop. He shows off a strong arm, accurate arm to first base. Nice play.
Harrison now in that shift with Miguel Montero at the plate. 3 infielders on the right side, and he's closest to second base.
Starts the season at a tidy 185. By the end of the shifts from the season, he's about 160 now.
Lined over the head of Harrison into center field, and that's a 2-out single.
If these shifts continue, we're going to see the left fielder stand over there where that ball was hit and leave all left field open. Just a nice fastball. He goes up there looking to hit it early in the count, puts a nice swing on it.
That's the first hit by a Cub outside the top 2 in the batting order. Fowler and Schwarber have worn out Cole so far. Addison Russell takes a strike. He flied out to center his first time. Once again, it's Jared Hughes who will loosen up in the Pirates bullpen.
On his short stay so far, it came up in April, did Addison Russell. Hits the ball to right very well if you pitch him away.
A ball and 2 strikes.
Oakland A's last year. They needed a couple of pitchers. They got Lester. They got Hamill. The Cubs got Addison Russell.
The 1-2. And Cole struck him out to end the 4th. It remains 3-0 Cubs. Near the ballpark.
Around Pittsburgh in 80 days, I guess.
Josh Harrison takes a strike, 0-1. Loop to right. Schwarber is right there to make the play. Just a moment ago, had a chance to spend a little time with the Cubs manager, Joe Madden. Well, Joe, I can't imagine that this game has started out any better than you could have possibly wanted at this point.
Yeah, Dexter's leadoff at bat was fabulous, and of course, Schwarber's down the line. Then eventually hit the home run, and of course, Jake's looking like Jake. I mean, the ball's really jumping out of his hand from down here. Velocity's good, location, all his pitches is really good. You can see the slider cutter being effective.
Andrew McCutchen, who has the only Pittsburgh hit, a 2-out first inning single, stands in against Arrieta.
I think that was an understatement by Joe. The slider cutter is effective. You want to be aggressive as a hitter. You want to go up because you know he's getting ahead, but he's making pitches right on the edge. He's mixing his breaking ball in. He's just making it really difficult.
1 ball, 1 strike to the Pirates center fielder, and now 1-2. Cal, how about familiarity with a pitcher? 5 times they've seen him this year, a couple of times in September. Should that be any kind of an advantage for a hitter when you see a guy that often?
I think generally speaking that is true. The more you see what the breaking ball does, what the fastball does, what he likes to do to you personally, then you can get a better game plan. But when your pitcher is this hot, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into video, if you're into sabermetrics, analytics, whatever you're into, when you have a pitcher as hot as this guy, the printer stops working, the video goes kerplunk, nothing starts to work because it's all giving you the same answer, and that is almost so difficult to hit against Jake right now.
There you see his season numbers against the Pirates. And I'll tell you this, you know, you talked about Kyle Schwarber playing right field for just the 3rd time this season. And Joe Madden, before the game, he asked him, he said, how do you feel? What was your impression of seeing him out there in the last week of the regular season? He says, very comfortable. He certainly did on that last ball that was hit on the button by McCutchen.
Well, he only played 14 innings, 14, folks, in the regular season at right field. Chris Bryant has played all over the diamond. He's in left field. So the Cubs have made a decision to play guys in different places. Joe has always loved versatility, even by his young players.
Reaches out wide of first, and Marte is out by a step. Chicago Cubs through 4. Arrieta leads it off, as he did in the third when he struck out against Garrett Cole. But the top of that Chicago order has been dynamite here in the wild card game. Four of the Cubs' 5 hits have come out of the 1 and 2 spots, including a 2-run homer by Kyle Schwarber. And Dexter Fowler, the leadoff hitter, is on deck. You heard Joe Madden talk about the importance of that. Getting this game started with a base hit off Garrett Cole. One down as Arrieta strolls back to the dugout. Follow every pitch of the postseason with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Stay connected with highlights, replay reviews, scores, pitch tracking, live radio broadcasts, and more. Download the At Bat app today. Here is Dexter Fowler, 2 out of 2. And this is grounded foul up toward first.
When you ask me that question, the more at bats you get. Derek Fowler came in 3 for 14 off of Garrett Cole. He solved him in the first 2 at bats.
No balls and 2 strikes.
Garrett Cole trying to do his part. Just hope it isn't too little too late. Stay in this game, keep the score the same way.
I saw his look in the dugout after the first inning, and I was thinking to myself, does he feel he has to put a 0 up on the board against Arrieta? Because that's when you start pitching against the other pitcher.
Yes.
You're normally pitching against the other team's hitters. But when you know that you can't give up anything, like in this case, it looked like he was a little frustrated for that reason.
The 2-2 in the air, deep right, back toward that wall, and Fowler has gone deep. Dexter Fowler getting the glad hand in that Cubs dugout. He's 3 for 3, has scored 3 runs, and is homered here in the 5th.
He and Schwarber are 5 for 5, 2 home runs, 3 runs scored, 2 doubles. I mean, a stolen base, sorry.
Well, it's a 4-0 game, and Fowler gets the congratulations. Schwarber lofts one to right. Polanco gives way to McCutchen for the second out. Another look at the long ball.
4-seam fastball right down the middle, Cal.
We talked about him not being the prototypical leadoff hitter. He's got power. He's got juice. He jumps all over this one. Carries out to right center field.
Cole didn't like it, and the fans, Buck fans in right center, didn't even really react to catch it.
High and tight to Chris Bryant.
Remember I told you hitters like to talk about it?
There's a monologue going on in there. To short. Jordy Mercer handles that. But the Chicago Cubs add to their lead. Another long ball. It's 4-0 over Garrett Cole and the Pirates.
He's got 30 innings against the Yankees in his career. The last 28 have been scoreless.
Francisco Cervelli leads it off in the bottom half of the 5th for the Pirates. Look out.
Everyone aghast here at PNC Park. Cervelli has been one of those players that has had a rough go of it behind the plate. Now a ball thrown right under his chin.
That looks like a two-seamer that got away. He first shook off the slider.
It looked like it caught the front of his finger. So they're going to put him on first base, hit by pitch.
Joe Madden, Dave Martinez trying to figure out if they want to take a look at that. Did it actually hit him?
We had the good shot. It hit him right on his left hand, right on his top fingers. Here it comes. Watch his left hand. Boom.
Left or right hand, Ronnie?
I think left. His hand came off the bat a little with his left hand and just caught it enough.
Just the second base runner for the Pirates in this game. And here's Neil Walker. Struck out his first time. Shallow left. One down.
That was a classic case, Cal. I think Neil Walker was trying to do what you were saying. Just jump on that first fastball.
That's the first sign of him losing a little control. Didn't get the first pitch over. And then supposed to be down and away, and he threw it up and in. So on the first pitch right there, he might have swung at a pitch a little out of the strike zone high.
Here's Jordy Mercer with a runner at first. One down.
He's missing low, missing high, so really the first sign of any trouble with the command of his fastball.
You're probably asking at home, why is he so effective? Well, of course, he's got the good breaking ball. He throws hard, but he throws across his body, which makes it feel like the right-handed hitter, the ball's coming from shortstop almost, behind you.
Count even, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, Montero recognized that he wasn't commanding the fastball real well, called for the slider, and sometimes that'll correct your arm slot or your rhythm on your fastball. And back to the fastball away.
Cervelli with the lead at first. And Mercer swung right through that.
What did Clint Hurdle say before this game? They had to take better at-bats against Arrieta. You see he's retired at 9 of the last 10 batters on 2 strike counts, but they've also chased balls out of the strike zone. Can't do it. Easily said, hard to do.
Steer right 3 called. 2 down.
You know, you say to yourself at home, then why don't more pitchers throw across their body? It's because it is so difficult to do. You've got to be incredibly strong to be able to flip that breaking ball while throwing it across your body. And Arrieta is one of the strongest in all of baseball.
7th strikeout of the night for Arrieta, whose high this season is 12. He's had double digits 4 times. Pedro Alvarez fouls that off. No balls and a strike. Alvarez was not in the starting lineup tonight. Clint Hurdle opting for defense over offense at first base with Sean Rodriguez. But then when they fell behind 3-0, Alvarez pinch hit for Rodriguez. And the Pirates have a pinch hitter for Garrett Cole in the on-deck circle. That's Travis Snyder.
This is the one big fella that can get you back in the game in one swing now.
Had him fooled. Ball and 2 strikes. Arrieta struck him out in the 3rd, making him 2 for 18 career with a home run against the Cubs right-hander. Cervelli with a lead at first, got nicked by a pitch to lead off the inning. And that's way upstairs. 2-2.
That to me has got to just be a setup pitch for Arrieta to go back down with that breaking ball. Down and in.
And the count full.
Three-two count. Alvarez got 19 home runs and bats .335 against the fastball. Arrieta and Montero have to know that number. What do they counter with?
Seems to have better control of the cutter or the slider when he does his fastball this inning.
Cervelli takes off on the 3-2. Strike 3 called to Alvarez. Strikeout number 8 for Jake Arrieta. 5 innings in the books as he's shutting out the Pirates at PNC. Waiting on deck, but the night is done after 5 innings, and Antonio Bastardo takes over for Pittsburgh.
Well, especially with the 2 lefties coming up, led by Anthony Rizzo. Bastardo this is his 4th appearance in the postseason, also with Philadelphia earlier in his career. He's been one of their better relievers in his last 38 appearances. His DRA just over 2.
Appeared in 66 games in the regular season. Worked 57 1/3 and struck out 64 in those 57 and change. He'll face Anthony Rizzo. He'll lead off the 6th. We are zipping right along here at PNC. Joe Madden has Austin Jackson in the on-deck circle to bat for Tommy La Stella. And Rizzo got tied up. But the third base umpire, Jim Reynolds, said he did not go.
This is a quick movement with his body. We have to take a look at his hands to see, does his hands really go? Does it break? It's more of a turning of his body. Of course, as a hitter, I would say that's a no swing. What do you think?
I'm going to go with you on that one. But as you see Austin Jackson on deck, you know, we heard Joe Madden talk about it. With a lead, he's going to start to make some changes anyways defensively for his ball club.
And it kind of helps him with the pitching change here. You get the matchup you want for Jackson, and he's going to go in for defense. We know how good Pittsburgh's bullpen has been. It's been the best in all of baseball. And we think because we followed Kansas City around last year, we think that's the standard. But Pittsburgh is right there, even a little better this year.
Popped up over there by the Chicago dugout. And almost caught by Alvarez. He was leaning over the railing and couldn't hold on.
That was a great effort right there, because you want to get to the rail. You want to anchor yourself over there so you can reach absolutely as far as you can. And he does. It just seems like the ball is a little bit out of his reach.
Got leather on it. Couldn't hold on. And so Rizzo still up there. Waiting on a 2-2 from Bastardo.
Boy, Rizzo's such a big kid. When he stands in that box, that back foot is right on the back line, but on the inside corner. So his thighs are so big, it's almost looks like they're on the inside corner when you're throwing to him.
And you can see with that stance, he's pretty close to that plate, and he's been hit by pitches 30 times this year. That's the most in baseball. We await another 2-2 from the Pirate lefty.
Hit 30 times, hit 31 home runs. Only other person to do that is a guy you and I played against, Don Baylor.
Wow. And both those guys wanted to own the plate. Didn't want to give way at all.
They were big enough that the ball didn't hurt.
Outside, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Boy, Rizzo's got a good eye for a big slugger. But most of the pitches Cervelli's been calling have been inside, but he's going away.
And he looks at a called strike 3 for the first out here in the 6th. Let's take a look at StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services. If you're wondering about the exit velocity of what we've seen tonight, was at 100, almost 112 for Schwarber, and then Dexter Fowler, shade over 103. I didn't see the bottom line on the Schwarber homer. What was the estimated distance on the Schwarber home run?
I didn't see it.
I think the water stopped it.
449. So here's Austin Jackson. And he takes a strike 0-1. Remember when Austin Jackson came up, Yankee system, and trade for Curtis Granderson?
Always an excellent defensive player, but had trouble being a leadoff hitter for those Tigers. Strikeouts were an issue.
He was second in the Rookie of the Year balloting 2010 behind Neftali Feliz of the Rangers. And that was a short AB here in the 6th.
You see some of these Cub hitters when they're going back to the bench, they almost want to argue with the home plate umpire Jeff Nelson, but they're thinking, well, if you give those to Arrieta, then we won't say a word.
Two down for Castro. So in this highly anticipated matchup of Garrett Cole and Jake Arrieta, Cole works 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, struck out 4, walked a batter, and gave up the 2 home runs. It was the numbers 1 and 2 hitters in the lineup who tattooed him.
Get into these kind of games where, like you said, Ernie, you're trying to battle to pitch match zeros with Arrieta. Can't feel that way. You're just pitching against the Cubs.
Pirates have had 43 come from behind wins, second most in the National League behind the Cardinals, who had 44. But there are come from behind wins, and then there are come from behind wins against Jake Arrieta, which is what they're faced with tonight. In the air behind second. Neil Walker squeezes it. And that is a 1-2-3 inning for Antonio Bastardo. We're in the middle of the 6th in a 4-0 game. baseball here, the wild card game in the National League on TBS. Austin Jackson, the new left fielder for the Chicago Cubs, and Chris Bryant moves from left to third as Jake Arrieta goes into the wide and faces the pinch hitter Travis Snyder. Snyder hitting for Antonio Bastardo, who came on and worked a perfect 6th inning.
Well, the fastball command, it's almost hard for me to say this, but the fastball command for Arrieta has not been that great the last couple of innings. He's left a lot of balls over the middle of the plate and missing down a lot.
It's a sign for the slider. No cutter. It's got too much spin, I think, to be a cutter. Just a hard slider. He has commanded the slider much better in the last 2 innings than he has. But once you show the hitter that you're commanding your fastball, then you can play off his aggressiveness.
There's a 2-1 breaking ball with a 4-0 lead.
That was more about his ability to control it than the situation in the game.
The Pirates have had 2 base runners in this game. Nobody passed first. McCutchen singled in the first. Cervelli hit by a pitch in the 5th. And there is a base hit to lead off the 6th for Travis Snyder. Take a look at tonight's MLB Memory Bank presented by Bank of America. The highlight of the year that's had several. August 30th for Jake Arrieta when he went to Dodger Stadium and no-hit the Dodgers. Share your favorite baseball memories all season long using hashtag MLB Memory Bank. Now here's the top of the Pirates order, Gregory Polanco. Pittsburgh trying to do something about a 4-0 Chicago lead.
Well, this is their young superstar who in the beginning of the year really struggled. A lot of times with young players, you send them down to find their way. They left them here to flounder and try to figure it out. He did.
Line drive caught by Bryant. What a play. He got leather on it. Couldn't hold it the first time, but then made the play. Well, you move from left field to third base, and all of a sudden a bullet right at you.
Yeah, the ball gets on you at third way faster than left field. But he's playing him in. Good reaction. And his size might have helped here a little bit.
Yeah, playing in to take away that bunt. He's all a 6'6". He needed all of it.
Gregory Polanco that close to putting 2 Pirates on here in the 6th. Snyder remains at first with 1 down. And here's Josh Harrison.
Madden makes a defensive change. It pays off right away.
That is amazing that you have a type of player that can move around and with confidence they can play different positions. And it does give full flexibility to the matchups that Joe Madden really loves to play.
Ooh. Hit Harrison. Second Pirate hit by Arrieta in this one.
That's another breaking ball that got away from him, Cal.
Yeah, just a breaking ball that he got underneath. Again, there must be a little bit wrong with his mechanics. Controlling the fastball. Dragging his arm on a breaking ball there. A couple of bullets hit this inning. That's not what you normally see off Arrieta in this streak.
Well, to me, it's almost like the middle of these innings, he's trying to power his way through instead of saying, what I've done the first 4 innings has been good enough. Problem he has here with his 4-run lead is he's got Mr. MVP coming up.
Chris Bosio has the fix. He's had it pretty much all year when he's needed it. I wonder if that was a little more than a 20-second timeout.
For the first time since the first inning, PNC Park is alive. Runners at first and second, 1 down for Andrew McCutchen, who takes outside 1-0.
He's their most clutch performer. Runners in scoring position, only bats .361. That's his home run hot zone. Up and in. Up and away.
Missed again. 2 balls and no strikes. First time all night the Pirates have had 2 runners on in the same inning. Trying to make a dent in a 4-0 deficit. To short. Off Russell. All hands are safe. Infield hit for McCutchen. Bases loaded. 1 out.
Puts a good swing on it, hits it, handcuffs Russell at shortstop, and there's no play. Ball just eats him up.
Here's the cleanup hitter, Starling Marte. Montero with the block to keep the runners where they are. Well hit to short. Russell to second for 1, to first. Double play. Jake Arrieta hops off the mound. A huge double play to end the inning. Bases loaded and 1 out.
Sometimes when you have the kind of numbers that we've given about Arrieta, you've also got to have some luck. 4 balls hit extremely hard that inning. 1 handcuffed Addison Russell, and then he makes an amazing play on a ball hit right on the nose by Starling Marte to turn 2.
Official score has actually changed the scoring on that first ball hit to Russell, as Montero grounds to first, and Alvarez made a nice play, throwing to the new pitcher Tony Watson for the first out. But they changed that ball McCutchen hit from a hit to an error. That's a tough E6 to give Russell. And here's the play that Alvarez just made over at first. He's made 23 errors at first base. But he made a nice play there and fed Watson.
Well, there's Tony Watson, has been almost unhittable here at PNC Park, a 0.64 ERA. He's the left-handed reliever in all of baseball that no one knows about, how good he is. Those 95 plus, good breaking ball. Setup man for Mark Melanson when the Pittsburgh Pirates are ahead.
Fouled right back under us. A ball and a strike. Watson in 77 games this year. Tied for the 3rd most among relievers in the National League. Only allowed 3 home runs, and that's 75 1/3.
And getting back to McCutcheon's ball that was ruled an error or changed to an error. Addison Russell approached that the right way. With a lead, you shouldn't be trying to get in front of that and trying to smother it and get one out. Don't worry about a double play. Let's just get one out. The ball clearly handcuffed him, but his approach was right. Tough error on that particular ball.
After the game, I'm going to get a fumble and hit the same ball at the official scorer.
I think sometimes the official scorer sees the replay in slow motion, and everything looks easy in slow motion.
Ronnie, are you going to stay here till he makes the play cleanly?
Yes.
Because we have a flight to L.A. tomorrow.
Well,
so.
I'll stay here till 5.
Russell came back on the hot shot by Marte to start that inning-ending double play. And he strikes out for the second out here in the 7th. Well, the expected reaction as Jake Arrieta steps to the plate here in Pittsburgh. It's a blackout here at PNC Park, but you do see some blue. The Cubs travel well. And Watson just hit Arrieta. Now, Arrieta's hit a couple of Pirates, and now we've got the Chicago bench emptying and words being exchanged, and here come the Pirates. And for a couple of teams that met 19 times this year, things are getting vocal. That's all it is at this point.
Well, you can see the side of the Pittsburgh Pirates. What they're saying is you've hit 2 of our players, and you did it, Jake Arrieta, so we're going to try to get back at you. As you can see, Garrett Cole trying to get a ball. Arrieta's been pushed out of the scrum, but you can see it from Chicago. They're saying to themselves, hey, we need this guy to move along in the postseason. And you threw a ball and hit him.
Well, the whole issue is, was it intentional or not?
Absolutely.
Hit him with a breaking ball. That one was intentional,
yes,
for sure. But were the other 2 intentional? It looked like he lost control of his fastball, hit him with a breaking ball, and this was a reaction for sure, a message sent back.
This is 19 times playing during the year. This is getting blanked by Madison Bumgarner last year in the wild card, and now being blanked again by Arrieta here.
You see, Sean Rodriguez was at one point being restrained by 3 Pirates, and he's still barking. Rodriguez, one of Joe Madden's old players in Tampa.
Managers and the umpires got to get this under control, get the players back on the bench.
Seventh inning fireworks here at PNC.
The only thing I would do different in this instance, if I was Jake Arrieta and the pitcher hit me in the fanny because I've hit 2 of their players, I would have run to first base. And that might have stopped everything. But once he stopped to talk to Watson, that's when the fireworks started.
I'm sorry, I was staring at the videotape trying to figure out what the words were being said. Right there in the beginning of that.
I'd say most of them we can't use here.
Both teams during the regular season hit a lot of people.
Yes.
So normally a hitter will be sensitive. Cervelli was really close. Ticked off his hand. I don't believe that was intentional.
But Arrieta hit 10 people during the regular season, 2 more in this ball game.
He hit Cervelli in the 5th, hit Harrison in the 6th.
And the umpires have the power to make judgments without warnings. If they deem it was intentional, you can throw guys out of the... I don't think they're going to in a playoff game.
I think the best that they should do is write down what the participants were kind of what happened? Did anyone get out of control? And let's play baseball again.
I thought it looked like, right after it happened, that Jeff Nelson pointed at the dugout as if to warn both sides.
Well, Rodriguez, this has got to be one of the...
He was looking for somebody to hit.
Well, this has got to be one of the worst games that could ever happen to you. You're put into a postseason game, a wild card game, and you never even get an at-bat. Frustration.
There you see it again as he took that ball on the hip or on the cheek. And there was the warning. The thing about Sean Rodriguez, too, when you looked at that replay as he was punching the cooler in there, this is a guy who, when he was with the Rays back in 2012, he punched a locker and broke his hand. And he was wearing out the cooler in the Pirates dugout.
Well, I never think this is the right thing to do. Do I understand his frustration of starting a wild card game and not getting an at-bat? Someone said something to him that he did not like, and that's why I think he lost control.
That's the danger when everyone comes out, and they always come out, and one or two people saying the wrong thing can escalate it and ignite it.
Now he gets a seat in the clubhouse.
Meantime, back at the game, Jake Arrieta is the runner at first with 2 down. And there he goes. There's your answer. Dexter Fowler, who's had himself a night, now turns around to bat right-handed. Into right field. Will it fall? No, it will not. Polanco with a fine running catch to end the 7th. A lot of action in the 7th. No run scored. It stays 4-0. Fireworks going off there in the 7th inning running.
You know, it was really something that, you know, he kind of felt like it was going to happen from a Pittsburgh side because of what happened to him last year in the wild card, because Arrieta had hit 2 of them. Tony Watson, I think, did what used to happen in baseball. If a pitcher got you a couple of times, then you went after the pitcher. Why go after the hitter? They haven't done anything.
It's unexpected for me. In a playoff game, it's almost like a fight in a hockey playoff game. You're trying to get back in the ball game, but maybe it was their opportunity to get Arrieta in a different way.
Arrieta back out there here in the bottom half of the 7th inning, and it's 2-0 to Francisco Cervelli. Well hit, base hit to lead off the bottom of the 7th. Well, the Pirates loaded the bases in the 6th, but could not score. Get the leadoff hitter on here in the 7th. Chris DeNorfia is the new right fielder for Joe Maddon's Cubs. So Kyle Schwarber out after quite a playoff debut for the rookie, with a 2-run homer and 3 runs batted in on the night. Neil Walker fouls it back, 0-1.
Well, Cervelli doing what he's done all season long. It's the reason he's batting 5th in this lineup. 7th inning or later, batting average of .357.
They need traffic on those bases here in the 7th, down 4-0.
Yeah, but you can't help but notice that Arrieta, it's not a loud ball hit off of him, maybe with the exception of a McCutcheon, and all of a sudden 4 in the 1 inning. Then another line drive here to start the inning. This is not the same stuff that we were seeing earlier.
Also remember, with both benches warned, how careful do you have to be inside if you're Arrieta?
Yeah, great point. Two balls and a strike.
So now we're seeing a little emotion out of Jake. Normally he's calm, cool, not bothered by anything.
Well, throughout this entire great run of his, he has been incredibly stoic. And this is the first time that you've seen him lose his cool a little bit. And that's why pitching coach Chris Bosio is going out.
Nothing going on in the Chicago pen right now.
I watched these Pittsburgh fans do it to Johnny Cueto and the Cincinnati Reds one evening. They can get that mojo going. Neil Walker, a native son, a free agent after the year. Maybe he can be a hero.
Swung on and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Walker went to high school about 16 miles north of Pittsburgh. He's had a good year. 16 homers, 71 runs batted in. But he goes down swinging for the first out here in the 7th. Now, Sean Rodriguez has been ejected for this game. We take another look at some of the video from that scrum and watch the right hand. Looks like he tried to throw a punch in there.
It's almost like they formed a citadel around Arrieta to make sure that no one could get there. Rodriguez tried to. Ross held him off. We talked about Ross's position on that team and how what a leader he is.
Cervelli still at first. Here's Jordy Mercer. 0 for 2 with a strikeout.
Fastball miles per hour are down from Jake. 93, 94 right now. Not with the same control.
And excuse me, Aramis Ramirez, obviously the pinch hitter here in the 7th.
That one hit 95.
They could go back to that breaking ball, try to get Ramirez to pull it. Ramirez is a big double play victim.
Missed outside and low. 2 balls and a strike.
This young man has had quite a career. Started his career here, went to Milwaukee. Now has come back and playing in the post.
Played for a long time with the team he's facing tonight, the Chicago Cubs. Played 56 games for the Pirates, 37 years old. Pedro Alvarez waiting on deck. Well hit to third. Bryant on the backhand. There's 1. There's 2. What a play by the rookie Bryant. And for the 2nd straight inning, an inning-ending double play gets the Cubs out of trouble. For 3 with a long home run. Knocked in 3 runs in his postseason debut. And the Cubs, with their 4-0 lead, come to the plate in the 8th. Joaquin Soria is the 4th Pittsburgh pitcher.
Early in his career, he did a fantastic job. He was the closer of the Kansas City Royals. He's moved around a lot since then. Was with the Detroit Tigers, where he got his 200th save this summer, and then they acquired him from Detroit on July 30th.
Chris Denorfia, a defensive replacement in this game, leads it off for the Cubs in the 8th. Aramis Ramirez stays in the game at 3rd for the Pirates, and Josh Harrison moves from 3rd to short.
Done a lot of postseason games. I don't think I've ever seen a bench clearing brawl in one of them.
Yeah, the temper's reaching that point in the 7th inning of this one, when Jake Arrieta, who had hit 2 Pittsburgh Pirates, was hit by Tony Watson right around the belt. And the benches came out. There was a lot of jawing. There appeared to be a punch thrown by Sean Rodriguez, who was thrown out of the game, as Denorfia draws a leadoff walk.
You know, Ernie, this is a summer when you win 98 games and you can go home after one night. That's the kind of frustration that boils over.
As we pointed out when we came on the air, too, you're talking about a couple of teams in this wild card game. You're talking about the 3 best records in baseball, all coming out of the NL Central. The Cardinals with 100 wins, Pirates 98, Cubs 97. That had never happened before. And either a 97 or 98 win team was going to be shown the door after one night of October baseball here in the postseason.
And you could make an argument that any of those teams could make it deep into the postseason.
Chris Bryant looking for his first hit of the night. This kid hit a home run at Wrigley Field off that new big old scoreboard out there that was measured about 495. I think it was still going up when it hit it. Former teammate of Bryce Harper on a Las Vegas travel team, which would scare the pants off any 13, 14-year-old pitcher who had to face that team.
I was just thinking there's a lot of teenagers crying when they were playing against that team.
We saw Schwarber a minute ago talking about what type of pitches. He was communicating to Rizzo in the on-deck circle, sharing information. A young guy just came up, watching what they have and explaining it to Rizzo.
Young guy explaining to Rizzo. Rizzo's probably like, I got it, son.
Well, he's a veteran, but he's young too.
Yeah.
But remembering pitches, remembering how they got you out. You're similar hitters, hitting the left side, got some power. They could attack you in similar ways. So a sharing of information is always pretty good.
A ball and 2 strikes. And that's fouled off.
I remember reading an article about Chris Bryant and his theory of hitting. His father had been a minor league player and said because of his height, his ability to hit the ball a long way, he just tries to come into every game and hit 4 fly balls. He figures one of them will be long enough to get out. That's about the opposite of what we were taught, Cal.
The 1-2 outside. Denorfia had wandered way off first, but trots back.
Generally, a fly ball is a lot easier to catch than a ground ball.
Yeah,
it's a little less complicated. Cervelli makes a nice block. Gets out on a breaking ball way out in the batter's box.
Cervelli probably the most agile and athletic catcher in all of baseball. Well, he's throwing the kitchen sink. I don't know if he has anything left.
It's one of those at-bats where you can fight off a pitch and then see everything he has and have a pretty good idea when it gets 3-2.
Remember back in the third against Garrett Cole, he fell behind in the count 0-2 and worked him for a walk. Tried to check his swing, called out on strikes.
It looks like he might have gone on this, and we'll see this in a second. But if I'm the hitter, I want to be called out by the guy on first, not by the guy behind home plate. It's hard to look at the pitch coming in and then switch your attention to whether you made an attempt at the ball.
First out of the inning. And here's Rizzo.
The pitch right there surprised Sorelli. He didn't get a call on that. Might have been a hair low, but pretty good pitch.
It hasn't been the big RBI guys of Bryant and Rizzo, who combined for 200 this year, who have done the damage for the Cubs here in the wild card game. Fowler at the top of the order, and Kyle Schwarber, the rookie, hitting second.
He hasn't done any damage yet.
The 1-1. That's over for a strike. The ball and 2 strikes to the Cubs cleanup hitter.
So I'm wondering, from Schwarber's sign that was kind of giving him sort of a breaking ball or off speed sign, he's gone up there and taken 3 fastballs. I wonder if he's sitting on a breaking ball.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Soria. Follow every pitch of the postseason with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Stay connected with highlights, replay reviews, scores, pitch tracking, live radio broadcasts, and much, much more. Download the At Bat app today. Or just say At Bat app several times in a row, and it's just a lot of fun.
You could almost read Rizzo's mind right there. He had a breaking ball in his mind the whole time. He didn't take a pass at any of the fastballs. I used to love that on the advanced scouting reports, when you didn't have a guy and they would tell you what they would do, plant a thought in your head, and go up there and have the opposite reaction.
That's right.
Ooh, very close.
That's why you get all these sabermetrics, Cal. You know, how do you process it? Different people process things in different ways.
It's a lot of information. You got to choose which one works for you.
I can barely choose lunch.
Austin Jackson takes down low, ball and a strike. Here is Jake Arrieta. Arrieta has shut out the Cubs through 7. Been in some trouble the last couple innings. One ball, 2 strikes, and Jackson goes down swinging. So after a leadoff walk, Soria with 3 strikeouts. We head to the bottom half, making an appearance in the Chicago faithful who have made the trip to Pittsburgh. Of course, the last World Series appearance for the Cubbies in 1945. They last won it in 1908. They lead 4-0 in the wild card game, the first step on the postseason road. Ball and a strike to Alvarez from Arrieta, who begins his work in the 8th. Alvarez didn't start the game as he takes a strike. But when the Pirates fell behind in this game, he pinch hit for Sean Rodriguez, who's a better defender and had started at first base. Alvarez, who can really hit the long ball, has struck out twice against Arrieta.
Well, there's been 6 hard hit balls these last 2 innings against Arrieta when he looked very, very vulnerable to the Pirates.
Looks a little better right now.
Yeah, he does.
Got his fastball down. He's gotten Alvarez a couple times on breaking balls. Steady diet of fastballs this at bat.
And that's the hat trick. Double-digit strikeouts now for Arrieta.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good right here. The defense bails him out on a hard hit ball. And this was a super play by Chris Bryant. Backhands the ball, tough ball, and then starts a double play. A nice turn by Castro as well.
Wow, that was Cano-esque as he made that turn. That's StatCast, powered by Amazon Web Services.
Remember, he has played shortstop his entire career.
That's a totally different pivot, too. Coming across the bag on a double play from shortstop, and then using your body and having the arm strength to make that turn.
Michael Morse pinch hitting here in the 8th. Another big guy with power.
Well, that was some stat there, wasn't it? 10 strikeouts by Arrieta, most in postseason history for the Chicago Cubs in a debut.
Upstairs, missing. There's the Pirates closer Mark Melancon, who led all of baseball with 51 saves out of 53 opportunities. Out there in the shark tank, as he calls the Pittsburgh bullpen. Line right up the middle. Morse, who started the year with the Marlins and traded to the Dodgers, and right away then traded to the Pirates for Jose Tabata, reaches here in the 8th. Pirates have gotten a couple of hits out of the 9-hole. Travis Snyder with a pinch hit. And now Morse here in the 8th.
Another ball hit hard. And with Polanco coming up, he made it out on a ball that was lined out to Chris Bryant at third.
Remember that play in the 6th inning? It was a bullet that hopped out of the glove of Bryant, but he was able to catch it in midair for the out.
His mechanics looks a whole lot better to me. His tempo, he's getting his arm out in front a little bit.
Not rushing as much. 95 pitches now for Arrieta. 2 starts ago, he threw a shutout against Milwaukee, threw 123. That was his season high.
In the air to right. Plenty of room for Denorfia. 2 down. And Josh Harrison steps in here in the 8th. 0 for 2. Hit by a pitch. Cervelli got hit. Harrison got hit by Arrieta. Arrieta got hit by Watson. And then you had a couple of 25-man playoff rosters all meeting in between the plate and first base. The fallout from that, warnings to both sides, and Sean Rodriguez ejected.
His fastball command is much better. Fastball to the outside part of the plate.
That light at the end of the tunnel, the finish line. Starting to smell it a little bit.
Straight back, a ball and 2 strikes on pitch number 100 from Jake Arrieta.
You know, you can see it as he's conveniently wild. You know, when you think about it, trying to throw the fastball, sometimes it runs and goes up and in. And from a hitter's perspective, it's too much up and around your chin. That gets your attention, not always in the good way.
Pirates tonight 0 for 10 with runners on.
You can see when he has his fastball command, you can get ahead and then go to the 2 different types of breaking balls. Secondary pitches are always good, but they're much better when they're set up by the fastball.
In the air to right, Denorfia over and runs out of room. And that's one tough customer right there, Jake Arrieta. I'm going to go back to a conversation I had with Chris Bosio about the makeup on Arrieta. He doesn't want to just go out and beat you. He doesn't want you to get a hit. He takes that kind of mentality. Strike 3, and they'll have to complete the strikeout with the throw to first. 11 Ks on the night for Jake Arrieta, who has shut out the Pirates through 8. We followed in that run through the American League Championship Series. And the Chicago Cubs 3 outs away from moving on to meet the St. Louis Cardinals. Pirates call on Mark Melancon here in the 9th.
Well, it's one of those cases where you have your closer, as you said, 51 out of 53 in save opportunities. But at this point, if you're going to have any kind of comeback, the Cubs can't score one more.
Starlin Castro leads off with a line drive to short. And Harrison gloves it for the first out.
See Harrison saying ouch, like that caught him not in the webbing, but maybe right in the palm.
Yes, indeed. Certain areas that you can't help but get handcuffed.
Hands out of his glove.
Cal's even grimacing up here.
It's barking right
You've
now.
been there. Here's Miguel Montero. And gets ahead 0-2. 78 games for Melancon this year, second in the National League to Kevin Segrist in St. Louis, who went to the mound 81 times in relief. Tapped up toward first. Alvarez takes it himself. 2 up and 2 down here in the top of the 9th. Stay tuned after the game for the postseason show on TBS, presented by the Lincoln Motor Company. Casey Stern and Pedro Martinez, Gary Sheffield, Dusty Baker. We will have obviously the highlights of this one and look ahead to Thursday's action. Not that I'm trying to produce their show, I'm just assuming that that's what will be coming up on the postgame show.
Well, I'm sure Pedro will have a little perspective on the bench clearing incident.
Not that Cal's trying to produce the show. We expect to see all of these things, fellas.
And I'm curious about Dusty, too. Dusty always has a good perspective on those things. That ought to be a good show.
Watch yourself. You have to join a union if you keep this going.
Analyst / producer Cal Ripken. That's down low.
Ernie, you were talking about the 78 relief appearances from Lanson this year. Did not allow a 2-out RBI all season. I mean, just one of those magical years. Doesn't feel so magical right now.
Pirates will have one more crack at it in the bottom half of the ninth. Well hit down the line, fair ball. Addison Russell around first as that ball caroms off, and Russell is out at second. That's Starling Marte knowing the ballpark. That ball caromed off the wall, and he charged and threw him out. 16 outfield assists in the regular season. Nobody had more. He just gunned down Russell at second. Stadium by the Houston Astros. Here in Pittsburgh, the Cubs have hit the road and lead 4-0 as we head to the bottom half of the ninth inning. And Jake Arrieta still in there.
Well, we did a game a Sunday ago where the Texas Rangers needed a superhuman effort by Cole Hamels and got it as he went 9. And right here, the Cubs trying to get the same from Jake Arrieta.
Andrew McCutchen has a hit. This one's right back to Arrieta. 1 out. Here is Addison Russell at the end of the last inning, and they took a second between innings to look at his hand.
Well, watch this left hand gets caught underneath him. Right hand goes, but the left hand gets caught almost under his hip and never makes it there. I think the weight of his body probably produced that, not injury, but
yeah, first thought he was trying to avoid the tag, but it seemed like when he went down initially, it just stuck and then got caught underneath him.
107 pitches for Jake Arrieta, whose high this year was 123. On the ground to third. Bryant to Rizzo. 2 down. Well, a year ago, the Pirates here at PNC were shut out by the Giants 8-0 in this wild card game. And they're down to their last out. Cubs haven't won a playoff game since 2003.
This was supposed to be a blackout game. We're seeing more and more blue as we go.
Arrieta tied for the league lead with 4 complete games and out away. And there's another strike to Cervelli.
Cubs have only won 1 postseason series in the previous 106 years, and that was in 2003. And on this October 7th night, 10-7, haven't won a World Series in 107 years.
1-2. Did he check his swing? Yes, he did. So says Hunter Wendelstedt, the first base umpire.
Garrett Cole, who just couldn't match zeros early in the game. Only one time this year did he give up 2 home runs on a start, and he did it tonight.
Little check swing, and for the first time in 12 years, the Chicago Cubs have a postseason victory. They win the wild card game, blanking the Pirates 4-0. And at DraftKings in Chicago, Illinois, there in Wrigley, that celebration will continue for a while. Joe Madden changing the culture, playing kids, and watching them win tonight on the road 4-0 in the National League wild card game. A 98-win season for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Ends in 9 innings of scoreless ball against Jake Arrieta.
2 runs in the last 4 postseason games for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Arrieta was almost, I believe, unhittable in the first 4 innings. After that, the Bucks had their chances, just could not